So as I was saying, in that first wave, women were primarily concerned with gaining access to rights, which then lays the foundation for that second wave, which allows women to begin to influence the political realm. Whether that is coming up the corporate ladder, yes, there's the sticky floor and there's the glass ceiling, but women do gain power and influence through the economic sphere, and of course they begin to start to penetrate the political arena, um, whether that is culminated in an actual election to the president of the United States yet or not. We did see a woman gain more of the popular vote for president of the United States in this particular election cycle. She just didn't win. So the idea that a woman would be this competitive in a presidential race against a white man is almost hard to believe. And as we saw in the 2016 election, there was a lot of that traditional male masculine role pushback that took place in trying to reconstruct what America should look like again. The idea of making America great is hearkening back to a period where women were still in the private sphere. They were the caretakers of the home. They were the raisers of the children, and they certainly weren't out making their way in managerial positions. If they were working, they were working minor positions. And then there's the third wave, where this is the wave of the new generation. They don't necessarily see themselves as feminist, and that is the reluctance of claiming the moniker of feminism is a luxury that these women today get to choose or not choose, whereas historically the way has been paved by the generations before them that constructed themselves as feminists. But today, women have made enough strides to where they, in many respects, feel as if, for all practical purposes, they are equal to men. And this has left women today feeling personally empowered. And these same women seem to take a more multicultural view of society. There's a difference between new women and old women. There always has been. Older women seem to be more conservative, and younger women seem to be more liberal. But the way women are thinking as far as their own power in society has been changing significantly as feminism has taken root, and it's made some serious concrete advancements in changing the structural landscape that gender politics plays out in. Of course, feminism is a catch-all term that describes the wide variety of theories that guide and shape women's efforts to transform the political arena. There are as many different types of feminism as there are feminists. There's liberal, radical, Marxist, multicultural, anti-decolonial, decolonial feminists as well. For the liberal feminists, they emphasize removing the obstacles to individual women's entry into the public sphere. Liberal feminists have been at the forefront of campaigns for equal wages and comparable worth, as well as reproductive choice. By contrast, radical feminists emphasize not so much the constraints on individual women's mobility and choices, but the systematic oppression of women because they are women. Radical feminists often believe that patriarchy is the original form of domination and that all other forms of inequality derive from it. A multicultural feminist begins where liberal and radical feminists end, by acknowledging that the word woman means many different things depending on class, race, ethnicity, religion, region, sexuality, age, and any other status. That is, multicultural feminism understands that each woman does not experience her oppression in quite the same as every other. The anti-feminist, on the other hand, actively resisted women's entry into the public arena, often because they believed that women, as the inferior sex, were simply physically incapable of handling the stress and difficulty that such public participation might entail. Some went further, arguing that women's entry would degrade the public sphere, disrupting the male camaraderie that was necessary for workers, soldiers, doctors, lawyers, corporate, blah, blah, blah. We've heard this argument before. It's the same old tired argument to try and keep women in their place and not accept the fact that they should be seen as equals in our society. As I mentioned, there is this backlash in the form of anti-feminists, but there's also many men engaged in the fight alongside women as allies. Feminism itself is not a gendered ideology. Feminism is arguing at seeing everyone as human, not just women, not just men, but all human beings as human. So there's a place within feminism for men to engage wholeheartedly. And as the times change, you see men changing with those times and beginning to stand firm with their female sisters in the struggle for equality. Whether those female sisters are their wives or their literal sisters or their daughters, they're standing up for women's rights alongside women who are struggling to attain those rights as well.